The Climate Ready Boston initiative recently released its Coastal Resilience Solutions for East Boston and Charlestown report. According to the reports, sea levels are on track to rise 9 inches by 2030, making these areas susceptible to flooding.
We know that with sea level rise and climate change that these events are becoming more frequent and more likely to happen over time. And if we don't plan for it, we'll just be like every other city that's getting nailed with these storms, having to figure out a way to dig ourselves out of the mess afterwards.
Climate Ready Boston has prepared a variety of ways to combat future flood events. Some of these techniques include elevating entrances for the East Boston Greenway and Pierce Park, and making the areas more accessible to the community. Other measures include installing deployable flood walls in known flood pathways.
We're moving from these really scary maps of Boston looking like it's underwater and not really knowing what to do with that other than being scared, to seeing, actually, we can really understand what this means. This is a risk that changes over time, and this is something that we can prepare for and we can adapt to, and we can do it in a way that can improve neighborhoods and improve the city while protecting it from climate change.
Area residents are already seeing the negative impacts of coastal flooding.
It was a rainstorm and the whole area was completely flooded, and I know there's only 2 streets that go, or 2 ways in and out of Winthrop, and it was just like the whole area was completely flooded.
East Boston and Charlestown communities were invited to open houses, where residents were able to learn about flooding impacts, discuss their thoughts related to the development plans, and offer suggestions.
There were like hundreds and hundreds of people from the community, and I was really excited because so many faces were familiar. So many people that had either come to one of our open houses or seen us at one of their community events had followed the process through. So that to me is a good sign that people are staying engaged and hopefully can be champions going forward.
I'm standing at the beginning of the East Boston Greenway. Directly behind me is where one of the flood walls discussed in the reports would be placed. This flood wall, as well as the elevated park designs and other mitigation techniques, would help lower the risk of flooding in East Boston and Charlestown in the future. Reporting for the BU News Service, I'm Sarah Rappaport.